Welcome to the ISB show. Sahil Ishana here, covering the U.S. men's national team Gold Cup Opener. We talked about the Gold Cup. We're going to cover all the teams later in their matches, but today it's for the U.S. and Ishana, much needed victory for the USMNT over Trinidad and Tobago. What do you have to say about the match?
I mean, it was a big score on that scoreboard, and usually we're on the other side of things. So it was nice, a nice surprise, I will say, for us to be on the winning end.
100% big surprise. I think it was much needed for everyone. Who were the standouts today in this particular match? And let's start there from the U.S. men's side, because obviously there wasn't a lot to talk about from the Trinidad side.
Yeah, I thought McGlynn played pretty well. I think what I saw also was just players improving. I know we've been a little hard on Agyemang, and I thought that he really stood his ground in this game. He stood on his feet. He's very aggressive. He's using that to his advantage. I like the formation that Pochettino came out with. And also, I just like that we took risks. What I saw in this game that I haven't seen in previous times is that we actually drove it forward for once. We didn't play this possession-based game. And look, I mean, that goal by Diego Luna, which was really a goal by Agyemang, kind of taking that little deflection, is a perfect example. It's not always going to be this pretty shot, but take a lot of shots and, some of them will be on target. Some of them will go straight in the keeper, but sometimes these fluky things happen and they go in. And this is a perfect example. Obviously, Trinidad and Tobago's defense didn't give us a lot to worry about, but I still think that it was a good exercise in just shooting your shot, literally.
Yeah, so I want to ask that. Do you think it was the opponent today that made us look better, or did you actually like the performance? Because I thought there was a little bit of both. I thought.
I think it's a little bit of both. I do think it was a stronger performance, but I also think we were not tested at all. But the one thing I would say, kind of irrespective of that, is I did see, just even if you look at the stats, just more shots. We took more shots, and that honestly, I'm okay with that for now.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot more forward motion. The team was some of the passes were much nicer in terms of linking up together. Granted, there was some giveaways that Trinidad had that made it easier. But overall, this is going to be a huge confidence boost, right, for the U.S. moving forward, and much needed, as we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one thing. Obviously, I think defensively, Trinidad gave up a little bit towards the end there, but it is just nice to kind of feel like, okay, you're dominating a little bit. And I do think that maybe Pochettino's idea of sticking with the squad so that they learn how to play with each other is a good call. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. I really think that Diego Luna is probably my favorite player in general on on the pitch, on our squad right now. I just love that he tries so hard. He definitely makes mistakes, but we saw some improvement with some other players as well. I still think our defense needs to be stronger. I need Chris Richards to be stronger back there, but overall, it was a good day of soccer.
Yeah, you're right. Because once Nathaniel James came in for Trinidad, you saw for the first time there was a little bit of a threat moving forward for Trinidad. All right, Shauna, finally, as we move forward, what do you need to see from the U.S. in the following two group stage matches? What would you like to see?
I mean, we're obviously going to be tested a lot more in that back line, and I just want that to be tighter. And I need the passes to be a little tighter up front. There were some nice through balls, nice ideas, but they just need to be tightened up a little bit. Sometimes players like Luna, De La Torre as well, we kind of just passed it a little too ahead of our strikers. And yeah, that's other than that, I thought it was clever in terms of just everybody being positionally where they're at. And I think it's there. It's just technical things we need to work on a little bit.
100%. I think overall, not much more to say about this match. It was all smiles and all happiness from Pochettino and the U.S. men's national team. Trinidad and Tobago, a lot to work on in the second match. I think Dwight York's going to have a lot to do with that. Shauna, final thoughts as we move forward and to the next Gold Cup match.
Yeah, I mean, I would say even for Trinidad and Tobago, just wipe it clean and start over and, forget about this, move on. We've obviously been there as the U.S. many times. And on the other side of things. So yeah, I just think that, you know, I hope they don't get their heads down too much because yeah, they had an off day defensively, you know.
There's a lot of Gold Cup left to play. So the U.S. Women's National Team opener in the books. The U.S. win, of course, 5-0. For all you fans of the game out there, keep watching the beautiful game. Keep watching the Gold Cup. We will be back with more videos from some of the other nations that are participating here. So see you all soon.